Go ahead, 306, McDonald 22.
Don't check in to the net. I guess they're having the net tonight. Is that right?
Hold what you got.
Yes, sir. They already had the early check-ins starting at 7 o'clock. They're actually on about a 10-minute break right now. They should be back in about 2 to 3 minutes from now, and you can check in at that time.
Oh, I appreciate that. Atlanta 306, we clear.
Okay, you ready?
All right, 306. Just stand by for a couple more minutes there. McDonald 22, WRCL 952. I'm standing by also.
All right, here we go, Julie.
Hey, Julie, your hair looks good tonight on the YouTube stuff. Looks cool. Atlanta 403 WRAT 241.
Oh my. Sorry. Good evening and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we are live from Studio Vanguard and we are linked in with the following repeaters.
And Gary's pulling up his list right now that he should have already had up. The hair comment from Dana has messed up the whole net tonight. All right, here we go. We are live on the flagship repeater, McDonough, Jersey, Columbus, Noonan, Lula, Toccoa, Peachtree, Watkinsville, Rome, Zebulon, Ocala, Dallas, Ottawa, Mount Roosevelt, Lookout Mountain, Fort Mountain, White Oak Mountain, Cates Cove, Chattanooga, and Georgetown.
Tonight, our RF coverage encompasses approximately 41,000 square miles. This net takes place every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. I would like to thank everyone who has made the North Georgia GMRS the most expansive and active GMRS network in the country. Your net control tonight is Atlanta 947, WQYR 514. My name is Julie. And
I guess that's my turn. This is WQYR 514, Atlanta 946. My name is Justin.
And this is WSAL 368, Atlanta 263. My name is Rogers.
And this is WRUB 711, Atlanta 519. My name is Gary.
On the net, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything you think we'd like to hear. This is a family-based network, so we would encourage you to get your family involved. Guest check-ins are welcome from anyone with a valid FCC call sign. Once the floor is open, it's permissible to address other members of the net by name or technical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in and when you sign out of the net. Also, you can tune in to our YouTube channel and follow along. Or even better, tune in after the net to watch your appearance on the network and hear how you sound to us right here in Studio Vanguard. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment so we know you were watching. These interactions mean the most to help our new channel grow. So tonight's topic for the net is, I believe, our pets, right?
Yeah, pets remembered and pets current and pets to come. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that ought to be interesting to hear what everybody's stories are. But first, I guess I'll just move on into the announcements. So let me break for a minute and I'll get that pulled up.
We lost your camera, Justin.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go for it. Maybe I will and maybe I won't. So let's try this again. We have the Kennesaw Gathering. We'll meet for lunch on March 11th at noon at Old Town Tavern and Grill at 2500 Cobb Parkway Northwest, around the block from McCollum Airport. Join us for our first ever Meet and Geek and bring your radio or programming issues to discuss and resolve. We'll have a mobile test bench where we can test and program most popular radios after our lunch. Please reach out to Ed, Atlanta 557, on the air or via email at wrqg806@gmail.com if you're planning to attend, so we have enough seats for all. And know of any radio issues ahead of time so we can try to have the right programming, cabling, and software available after the lunch. The Northeast Bunch will be meeting for lunch on Wednesday, February 26th at Rooster's Cafe in Dahlonega. Maybe we'll be able to eat our lunch out on the patio. We had a few new faces attend last month, and it's always great meeting new people. Remember that all current and future North Georgia GMRS members are welcome. For info, please contact Atlanta 403 Bobby or Gainesville 44 Joe. We also have Peachtree Corners Brunch Bunch, which meets at JR Log House Restaurant in Peachtree Corners at 6601 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard and Peachtree Corners Circle next to the bridge on top of the hill. This meets every third Saturday of the month, which will be the 15th in March from noon to 2:30ish. Great comfort food from breakfast omelets to veggies and salads, plus any type of tasty barbecue selections. Casual country farmhouse settings, Regulars and new faces are invited. Even the man behind the curtain. Come on up. That's you, Atlanta 60. RSVP to Skygazer Pamela 849 at gmail.com. Let me say that again. Skygazer Pamela 849 at gmail.com. Or you can call out to Atlanta 848 Ernest. Let me break. And the nets. The next rabbit hole net is Sunday, March 2nd. Early check-ins are at 7 p.m. and the net begins at 7:30. The topic will be announced very soon. The Ladies Roundtable net is the first Monday of the month. The next Ladies Roundtable will be March 3rd, starting at 7:30 p.m. and lasting until around 8:30. Please remember that guests are welcome. Don't worry about being too late or too early when there's a pause in the conversation. Say your GMRS call sign and Net Control will give you a seat at the table. The topic will roll with the conversation. Tuesdays on the northern region of the network feature our Skywarn net. This is a training net for Skywarn weather spotters in coordination with the National Weather Service and is available only on the Chattanooga area of the GMRS network. Wednesdays features a short ERC net at 8 p.m. This is a roll call net and is closed to North Georgia GMRS members. This net is for ERC members only. Please refrain from checking into this net unless you are an ERC member. The regional net is on Thursdays with early check-ins beginning at 7 p.m. and the program beginning at 7:30. This net covers a variety of topics.
I've heard that net's gone to the dogs.
It is tonight. Come experience the Friday Night at 9 Simplex Challenge every Friday night starting at 8 p.m. on the Monument Repeater. Join your hosts, Dana, Atlanta 250, and Jonathan, Gainesville 58, and test your radio's reach in the world of Simplex. Also, for amateur licensed folks, come join us every Friday evening for the new Friday Night at 9 2-meter Simplex Challenge on the N4KHQ repeater at 146.835 megahertz starting at 7:30 p.m. This net is for amateur folks only. Your hosts, Jonathan, Gainesville 58, and Mark, Rome 12, will guide you in a directed net testing VHF frequencies and more. We hope to hear you there. Let me break. The Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club continues to offer free classes and workshops on a variety of topics. For those interested in obtaining their ham radio license, there are now multiple licensing classes available for all levels. Check their website at w4am.net for the new list of classes and workshops. Be sure to register at www.w4am.net. Let me break. The 43rd Annual Dalton Ham Fest is coming this Saturday on February 22nd. It's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and there is a $5 entry fee at the door. It's located at the North Georgia Agricultural Fairgrounds, 500 Legion Drive, Dalton, Georgia, 30721. In Birmingham, the Birmingham Fest is February 28th through March 1st. It's at the Trussville Civic Center. More details are on the ARRL website. Then Charlotte Hamfest is right after that on March 7th and 8th. Sevier County Hamfest is March 15th. Then Fort Payne on the 22nd. It looks like Hamfest season is in full swing. The AARL website has pages and pages of area Hamfest, so if you miss one, you'll be able to find another one soon enough. But don't miss the Dalton Hamfest this Saturday, where we plan to be right there. We look forward to seeing you. For those of you who are also licensed hams, the Publix Atlanta Marathon is coming up on Sunday morning, March 2nd, and the Atlanta Area's coordinator is looking for a number of additional volunteer amateur radio operators to be stationed out on the course, either at various water stops to monitor and report conditions back to Race Command, or to ride in one of the sag wagons, helping to coordinate picking up injured or exhausted runners from the course. If you're interested in helping, please reach out to our own Atlanta 26 Flip, either over our network, or you can send an email to justin@nggmrs.org, and he'll forward that to Flip. The American Red Cross of Georgia is holding a Sound the Alarm event, installing free smoke alarms in Cartersville, Georgia on March 22nd. For those wanting to volunteer, please reach out to Terry Oliver at terry.oliver@redcross.org for more information in the meetup location. And that's it. If you have any questions, comments, or news to share, please send an email to justin@nggmrs.org. We are North Georgia GMRS Network. And that's all I have for announcements.
Well, we do have one additional announcement to make.
We do.
Yeah, a late-breaking recent development. Gary hurt himself, and he's not going to make it to the Hamfest. So Hobbit Communications is going to be a no-show. It's a shoulder injury. Hopefully, he can do some physical therapy or something and get that back in action. I know that he was going to see a doctor about it. I'm not sure when an appointment's going to be, but he's definitely not going to make it to the Hamfest this weekend. So we're disappointed that Hobbit's not going to be there. But if you do want to acquire a radio, you can still do that. You can go to hobbitcommunications.com and you can shop for your radio online. And we'll figure out how to get it to you. We can ship it. That's always an option. And if you don't want to have it shipped, you can arrange to pick it up at Hobbit Communications. And one of the cool things about a radio from Hobbit Communications is it's already programmed for our network. And if you have questions about that, just reach out either to me or to Gary or anyone here on the network, and we'll explain how that program works. But it's set up so that you can easily travel to other areas and be able to punch in PL tones for other repeater channels, and then come back here to our region and have the zones that are pre-programmed for our repeaters. On your break. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but Hobbit's not going to make it to the Dalton Hamfest. So, but everybody else, I think, should be there.
Who's everybody else?
You, and you, and you, all of you should be there. Bring me a hot cocoa. It's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold, that's for sure.
All right, where are we at?
Well, I'm done with announcements, so do we want to take check-ins?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Oh, well then let's open up for Zello check-ins. Anyone wishing to check into tonight's net that hasn't already done so with the early bird check-ins, go ahead and check in now on Zello. Zello only, please.
WRCG 694, Atlanta 785, Rick in Cobb County.
Yeah. All right, looks like Mike's on it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Great job, Mike.
920, Atlanta 306, checking in. Standing by.
All right.
This is McDonough 45 WSAI 254. Kai, checking in, checking out.
All right. That repeater's out. Oh, well. He's going to bounce around on us.
This is WRBR 303, Chattanooga 30. Jonathan and Hickson checking in and out. We'll see you in Dalton on Saturday.
Did that get locked?
It doesn't look like it. Chat 30.
I think so.
Whoops. All right, let's go ahead and acknowledge this round of Zello check-ins. We heard Atlanta 785 Rick in Marietta, in and out. We've got Atlanta 306 George in Loganville is in tonight. McDonough 45 Kai in McDonough is in and out. And Chattanooga 30 Jonathan in Hickson planning on seeing us at the Hamfest on Saturday. So those are the check-ins we have at this time. We'll continue with check-ins from Zello and from any repeater other than Flagship. Net Control standing by.
WT 435 Atlanta 374 checking in on the Lookout Mountain coming around Chattanooga right now.
This is WSDB 540 McDonough 21 Alfred in Stockbridge checking in and out. Have a good net tonight.
This is WSFY 564 Chattanooga 253. I'm checking in and out. I'll be listening to some of it when I can.
This is WROB 245 Atlanta 849 Pamela in Duluth and Atlanta 848 Ernest in Duluth. He's out and I'm in.
This is WRXH 279 Chattanooga 118 checking in and out, driving down the road. See you in Dalton.
Do you want to go ahead and acknowledge?
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and acknowledge this round of check-ins. We heard, let's see, we are at Rome 11. Mark is a YouTube check-in. We missed a whole bunch of YouTube check-ins. Let's go back and grab those real quick. We've got Atlanta 927 Connie in Buford is a YouTube check-in. Atlanta 1150 Tony in Canton. We've got WRYQ 727 Miko in upstate New York. Atlanta 1196 Philip in Ackworth. Atlanta 514 Michael in Cartersville. Rome 11 Mark in Georgia. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. We also have WSET 603 Landia is a YouTube check-in, and WRWY 456 Dave, the Hillbilly Ham, is also a YouTube check-in. Looks like there's one more here. We've got Columbus 31 Don in Columbus, also a YouTube check-in. Let's go back to our Zello and radio check-ins. Let's see. I think I've called out on some of these. Let's start here with Chattanooga 30. Jonathan in Hickson is in and out. We've got McDonough 21. Alfred in Stockbridge is in and out. Chattanooga 253. Roy in Dalton is going to listen as much as he can. Thank you for that. We have Atlanta 849. Pamela in Duluth is in with us tonight. Atlanta 848. Ernest is in and out. And Chattanooga 118. Stewart in Eastridge is in and out. We'll continue on with some more check-ins from any repeater, anywhere. Net control standing by.
Did you acknowledge all your early check-ins?
Early.
Is WRPT 435, Atlanta 374. Checking in, checking out.
This is Atlanta 1158, WSFT 747, Nick and Jasper, in and out.
WRKK 69, Chad 84, checking in, checking out.
We haven't gotten the last one. There was Atlanta. Oh. Something.
105, WSFN 506, checking in, checking in.
I think we missed somebody.
It was something 105. I missed.
Yeah, that was before Chattanooga 84.
All right, let me call some of these out here. I think we missed one or maybe two.
HB 312, Atlanta 123, checking it.
All right, let me try that again. I think it doubled on, I believe that's Jarius. I'm not sure if I'm going to say that right, but we're going to give it a try. Let me acknowledge what we have. And like I say, I think we missed one or maybe two of the check-ins here. So listen close. And if we didn't call you and you checked in here in the last moment, then it's because we missed you. So let's go through this. I've got Atlanta 1158. Nick in Jasper is in and out. Atlanta 374 Lamar in Dawsonville in and out. We've got a YouTube check-in from Atlanta 379 Scott in Sandy Creek is in and out. Atlanta 255 also in YouTube. Jennifer from Dawsonville. And Chattanooga 84 Jim in Hickson is in and out. We think we missed one just right after or right before Jim.
Right before Jim.
So station that checked in right ahead of Jim, come back with that. And we have WSFN 506. We missed the tactical unit number there, just a little bit of fade. So we're not sure that we've got that correct. So if you could come back, WSFN 506, come back with your TAC number if you have one, and your name and general location. We'd appreciate that. Also, I have Atlanta 123. Jarius, I'm going to ask you to come back and pronounce your name because I don't want to say it wrong any more than I already have.
Jarius is correct. Thank you.
That's unusual that I get it correct. So thank you for clarifying that, and glad to have you along. So thanks for that check-in. Also, we've got a YouTube check-in from Gainesville 26J from Flowery Branch. Those are the check-ins we have. Let's take one more round of check-ins here before we get started with the program. I cut that a little bit short because I was afraid I missed a couple. So if I didn't call you, it's because I missed your check-in, and I'd like for you to please try again. Net Control standing by.
Wrong. 1 5 SFN 506.
I heard Rome.
This is Gainesville 420 WSFH 294 checking in and checking out. Nick in Oakwood.
This is WRUZ 979, Chattanooga 97, Aaron in Cleveland, Tennessee, checking in and out.
It's not the same one.
Are you sure? Well, I think Atlanta, Rome 105 might be somebody famous. What do you think? Rome 105? Tommy Shaw?
This is
Sticks?
Atlanta 355 WRYR 428. Damon in Canton, checking in and out.
You never know.
We got a lot of celebrities in Atlanta, you know,
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
music artists and entertainers
And Rome.
oh, you know,
Yeah.
the general, the greater Atlanta area.
What could be greater? All right.
If Ozzy checks in from Flowery Branch, we know we've got a band issue.
This is? This is WRXM 922, Gainesville 58, Jonathan from Oakwood. Check me in, check me out.
Once you get on and acknowledge.
WSCH602, CW55, checking in on Zello from Rutledge. Mark, new member, and good evening to everyone out on the band. Just check me in and check me out. I'll just stand by and listen.
All right, let's go ahead and acknowledge this round of check-ins. We've got Gainesville 420, Nick in Oakwood, in and out. We've got Chattanooga 97, Aaron in Cleveland is in and out. Atlanta 355, Damon in Canton, also in and out. And we have Gainesville 58, Mr. Simplex, Jonathan from Oakwood, in and out. And CW55, Mark in Rutledge, brand new member, going to listen in tonight. Glad glad to have you along tonight, Mark. And Mike, did I miss anybody? Looks like we maybe are good. Let me know if I missed anybody.
Oh, this is Mike, WRWM344, Blue Ridge 63. Justin, you've got a couple up here. This little gap of 3. I've got them highlighted if you want to grab those.
All right, I see them. So we've got Atlanta, Atlanta 785. Rick in Marietta is in and out. Atlanta 306. George in Loganville is in tonight. And McDonough 45 Kai in McDonough. We've got you in and out. Those are the check-ins we have. There'll be one more chance for late check-ins when we get to the end of the roster before we close the program. But we're going to go ahead and kick things into gear. Tonight we're talking about pets. So, we have recently lost a very treasured and very beloved pet. And this is the third pet that we've lost in about a year in some change. We lost Bailey, and we've lost Max, and now Penelope. And this is one of the hardest ones because Penny was just a very special and incredibly brilliant, very, very communicative animal. She was able to convey exactly what she expected of us, and she had pretty high expectations. We were absolutely here to serve that dog, and we really enjoyed having her here, and being her servant, and it was a very special relationship, and it's tough when they go, and I know that Atlanta 60 has recently had a tough experience with Jake. In fact, he posted about that today on his personal Facebook page. Not a day goes by that he doesn't think about and remember Jake. And Jake was a really cool dog. We really enjoyed the visits that we had with Jake. So I can understand. And many of us have lost treasured and beloved animals. And, but that's the cool thing about pets is there's always the opportunity for another one. So what did we do a few weeks ago, Julie?
We took off and headed north to Indiana and brought home another fur baby. So we're back in. We've got the foster dog that never went away, Doogie. He came to us as a foster. He went out for adoption 4 times. Yeah. And came back. But he made up his mind. He was home all along. We just didn't realize it.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. But and it's one of those situations. It's really hard to understand why he was ever in a shelter because he really is a good dog. He's very well behaved. He is. Never had an accident. We've never had an issue. He's just we do have some issues. All right. So he has chronic ear infections, and when we got him, his ear infections were really bad. They were being treated, but they were not really being treated well by the vet.
Right.
The rescue vet. I think the trouble with rescue vets is they're trying to be so cheap that they're not being thorough, and so his ear infection, I think, was actually getting worse while they treated him. We ended up taking him to our vet, and we paid the bill, and finally we got the ear infections under control, but it's resulted in permanent hearing loss.
Yeah.
Doogie's, not only does he not listen, but he can't hear. So we've had the dogs that don't listen, but this one can't hear. So
right.
That's a little bit different. Let me break. But we enjoy him very much. He's been a great dog to have here on the property, and even with his hearing impediment, he's still very well behaved and very, very enjoyable to be around. But we just don't have that depth of a relationship with Doogie that we had with Penny or with Max, or especially with Bailey. And it's Bailey is one that I think about almost every day. I miss that little dog so much, but we've got Bricks now. And Bricks is very well behaved 5-month-old. Is he 5 months now?
He's 5 months now.
He's very well behaved. He's very well mannered, except when Gary and Rogers come around. Then he loses his
he's
manners.
Very leery of meeting new people.
Well, he's met them 4 times now.
Yeah, but it is getting better. We are seeing improvement, which that's saying a lot. But he's not your typical puppy where they're curious and excited to meet new people. You know, he's much more reserved. However, I think that comes into play because of his he is half Australian Shepherd, and something that I have read on them is that they are more stranger aware and a little more leery of new faces. So I think some of that is coming into play, but he is definitely making improvements.
Blue Ridge 63 says that Bricks doesn't like his hat.
That is true. We do have to work on hats and sunglasses as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Blue Ridge 63 is helping us out remotely tonight. He's in a hotel room at an undisclosed location in a land far, far away. And but he is helping us out with a log, and he's working the YouTube chat tonight. I tried to keep up with the YouTube chat right there at the beginning, and I think we were about 6 comments in, and I was lost. So Mike's gonna key me in if there's anything that comes up in YouTube that I need to bring to the air. So if you have YouTube comments that are pertinent, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and Mike will get my attention. At least he'll try to, and we'll see if we can get those comments brought to the air. But for now, let's go to the roster and see. Well, I don't, Gary or Rogers, do either of you have any pets that you want to talk about?
I don't have any pets currently, but and in the future, I do want to get some dogs.
So
we'll
you're
see.
in a perfect situation to foster.
Yes, you are.
Well, I have a 2-year-old son right now as well, so my hands are a little full.
You know, the 2-year-olds can be pretty demanding.
Yeah.
So maybe that means you need to foster a small dog.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe in a few years.
Well, that is something that we feel strongly about, fostering dogs. However, Julie broke that rule here with Bricks, but I don't think that really changes anything.
I don't
in
think
terms
that changes anything.
We
could still foster.
Yeah. So I think that fostering is if you have room in your home. And the ability to foster, I highly encourage it. One thing that's really cool about fostering dogs, because you'll get them all. You'll get the great dog with a great temperament that is really mellow, that you really enjoy being around, and then you'll get the hyperactive, high-strung, crazy dog that can't sit still and just drives you nuts. We had, what was that dog's name? Was
Riley.
it Riley? Riley was a very high-energy dog and would want to play, and by play that meant run as fast as it could from one room to the next and plow into Julie and knock her over.
Wow.
And over and over.
Yeah.
And she was bruised.
Was it a big dog?
He was a medium-sized dog, and just he was a
Smaller than the ones we
great-natured
own.
dog, lots of fun, but just way too
And
much
he was
energy.
all teeth. He constantly was biting all the time. I mean, not viciously, but
Just nibbles, but still,
it hurt.
a mouthful of young, sharp teeth, and
Yeah.
and
but he was precious when he was asleep. He really was.
But he got adopted out, and so it was nice that he was there for a short time, a very short time. But there were other dogs. We had a dog named Luna. That was one that we would have adopted. She was a great dog. She was very mellow. She was old, but we didn't know it. We had gone away on vacation and had another foster family take Luna while we were gone. And when we came back from vacation, she was very, very, very sick, and she had cancer. We didn't know that.
They had to
So,
put her down.
That was really sad. But these animals, they oftentimes give more than they take. I think I need a break.
You do.
Yeah, I went over my time. But these animals often give a lot more than they take, and the cost of feeding and caring for them and vet bills. I hate to think of what we spend on Doogie for his medications and his vet bills. A lot more than we had really bargained for.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he's worth it.
He absolutely is.
He's a pleasure to have around, and he's very low key, but he's also very well behaved. So we just really.
But to capitalize on what you said about fostering, the beauty of fostering a dog is that a couple of things. One is that you're given this animal a chance at finding their forever home. Otherwise, because our shelters are so full that they have to euthanize them, because they're constantly bringing in more and more dogs, and there's just not enough people out there to come in and to adopt. So you have these excellent dogs that are being euthanized, whereas if you foster them, that gives the shelter more room. So it allows that animal more time to find a forever home. When you foster, you don't have to pay for their food or their vet bills, or with Luna, because she was an older dog, and at the time we had a Jeep and we had a truck, and she was old, and her mobility prevented her from being able to jump into the vehicle. So my concern was,
and she was a large dog.
Yeah, how are we going to get her back and forth to the vet? Well, the rescue sent me a ramp so that I could get her in and out of the vehicle easily to transport her to the vet. So, I mean, in so many ways, when you foster, you're not out any money. And what you're doing is you're getting this animal an opportunity to have more time to find that house, their forever home, but also to socialize them, to help them decompress, because they're so anxious when they're in a shelter environment. Doogie, for the longest time, we couldn't even walk past a house with a lot of barking dogs because it triggered him thinking he was going back into a shelter environment. So, fostering is an excellent program. Not only that, but if you are interested in a dog, it gives you an opportunity to see if this dog is the right fit for your home.
Yeah, because Riley definitely needed to go somewhere else. I mean,
he did.
And he did. So we had him for a few weeks, and that was fine. It was clear really early on that this was not going to be our dog. But because we tolerated, his behavior wasn't bad. He was just very high energy.
Yeah.
And we tolerated that long enough to get him into an adopted home. But I saw on Facebook today, I don't remember what shelter it was, but they had 5 dogs that they needed to get out today because their time was up.
Yes.
And these shelters operate. Some of them operate that way, that they're limited in, once that dog arrives, that dog has to be placed within a period of time, or else. And so if the rescue doesn't come and pull those dogs from the shelter, those dogs will be euthanized. And that's where you come in. You don't have to own a dog to foster a dog. You just have to have a house that allows for that to happen, a backyard that you can walk them in, a neighborhood that you can walk them in, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And, as far as dog ownership goes, you don't have to claim that you're going to be that dog's forever home. You're just providing that dog with
more
shelter
time
for a period until you're the halfway house, until you
Yeah.
can get where he needs to go.
We should probably break.
Yeah, let's do that. Somebody's on the pedal.
Yeah. I was. So talk about fostering. I think it's a way to really you test drive the pet.
Yes.
I mean, it's a way for them to get to know you, and for you to get to know them. And a lot of times, it's not a match, and you've made the right decision to do the test.
Right.
It's just it's a really cool thing that a lot of the places do and take advantage of.
Mm.
Well, and that's going back to Riley. He definitely wasn't going to be our dog, but I think the family that ended up with him really enjoyed that energy and that drive. He was very playful, great personality. It just he just was too much for us, and that's like you'd pointed out. That's the beauty of the fostering is you get to test drive, and you may test drive a lot of dogs. I don't even know how many we've had.
I know we've had over a dozen.
So we've had a lot of dogs, and at some point we may foster.
Yeah,
again,
I wouldn't hesitate.
But
to do it again.
Yeah, and there's a lot that comes from that can be really a positive experience, and so and it doesn't have to be a lifelong commitment. Every time you foster a dog, the time that you have that dog from when it comes out of the shelter, and you're fostering that dog, and that dog ends up getting adopted, that provides an opportunity for another dog to be in the shelter, and not have to face the euthanasia. So that's cool stuff. So
let's go ahead and
let's go on to the roster here. First we have Rome 27 Terry. I think Terry might want to talk about his Red Cross gig. He's got that thing in Cartersville. So Terry, do you want to come on and talk a little bit about this opportunity? I think that was for smoke detectors.
Yes, it was.
How about Rome 27? Terry, are you out there?
Maybe he can check in later.
All right, let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and show Terry as we're going to keep him marked as in and see if we can come back to him maybe at the end of the program and see if he has an opportunity to come on with us and talk about that opportunity. It's an opportunity for people to get smoke detectors through the American Red Cross.
In Cartersville.
Yeah, so there was an announcement about that earlier. If you have, can you pull that up and maybe we can just give his email address one more time. I believe that's going to be terry.oliver at Are you not finding it?
I'm looking. There's a lot in these announcements.
Yeah, it's going to be way down at the end. Yeah. There it is. I see it right now. Terry.Oliver at redcross.org. That's Terry.Oliver at redcross.org. Just like it sounds. Terry with 2 R's, Oliver with 1 R.
Yeah, but it's Terry, Terry .Oliver
at redcross.org. So reach out to Terry for more information about the Sound the Alarm event for free smoke alarms in the Cartersville, Georgia area. The event is going to be on March 22nd, and they're looking for volunteers, I guess, to pass out. I don't know if they're going to install them, if they're just going to pass them out. I'm not sure how that works. Terry will know. So reach out to Terry and get more information about that. And with that, let's continue on. We have Gainesville 43, David in Winder. David, do you have any comments or any special pets you'd like to remember on the air tonight? All right, we're going to show David as in and out. Gainesville 43 are going to move on to McDonough 22, Tim in Stockbridge. Tim, do you have any comments for the net tonight?
Yeah, good evening, Justin and Julie there, everyone on the net control, everyone on the net there. Good evening. I've been an animal lover all my life, especially cats and dogs and everything, so I could probably tell dozens of stories, and it would take all night. But when I first moved down here to Stockbridge, I live in a small place. It's basically a converted garage, what they call a garage apartment. And it's too small for cats or dogs, but back in those mid-90s, my wife and my son, which we were separated, but my wife was raising birds back in those days. So I wound up with about 4 cockatiels and a parrot. And out of those left, I have one cockatiel that is verifiably over 30 years old now, because I have a picture of my bird on Christmas 1995, and this bird was one of them. So I have a 30-year-old plus cockatiel, and he's still getting around. All the rest of my birds are grown. But one special story of an animal that I can think of, back when I was still married and with my wife, and we had 2 cats that we had taken in from the neighborhood. They were just strays that we had taken in. One of them was a black tuxedo cat, with the white breast, and we called him Tiger, which it turned out to be a her. And the other one was Cindy, which was a real older cat. And Cindy was like a human being, more close to a human being than any cat I had ever encountered. Let me break. If you were feeling sad, Cindy would crawl up in your lap and hug you and love on you and purr and all this kind of stuff. If you were in a good mood, she'd want to play and go, just acting up and playing and chasing and stuff like that. But she was also very protective. One day I was in the dining room with Tiger in my lap, and I did something to make Tiger squeal, and Cindy was in the other room, and she thought I was being attacked by Cindy. So Cindy comes flying through the living room into the dining room there, and with one big paw slap just knocks Tiger right out of my lap. So that cat was something else, some personality there. But like I said, I could go on with animal stories, but I do have one announcement I want to make before I give it back to net control here. Let me break. Anyone who is interested, the McDonough group down here meets once a month for breakfast, and we usually don't announce it. We had limited space before, and it's still limited, but it's not as limited as it was before. So we could stand a few more if somebody wants to show up. We're going to meet on the morning of March the 1st for breakfast at Pappy's Cuban Grill. That's P-A-P-I-S Cuban Grill on Rock Quarry Road in Stockbridge, around 9:30 a.m. And they have a great breakfast, but you might want to bring your own coffee if you like American coffee. They only serve espresso coffee. Let me break one more time. So if you like me and don't drink espresso, and you don't like sugar in your coffee, you might want to stop somewhere else and bring some coffee. They said it's okay to do that. But that's 9:30 a.m. on March the 1st in Stockbridge. If you have any questions, you can email Bruce at WRNX338@gmail.com for further information, or you can contact me through Messenger on Facebook, Tim Barrett. They have a really nice breakfast. It's different than most other places. It's Cuban style, but they have some really good dishes there for breakfast, and we'd enjoy meeting anybody that feels like they'd like to come out and join us. And I'll throw it back to net control.
All right, Tim. Well, thank you for all of that, and don't forget, you can send that announcement to us, and we can add that in if you'd like. Just send an email to justin@nggmrs.org, or just make the announcement yourself like you just did. Either way. is just fine. Glad to have you along tonight, and thanks for those stories. And you know, cats need fosters as well. So if you're more inclined to relate to a cat than a dog, then by all means, pursue that with the local shelters.
But quite honestly, they have more than just cats and dogs. You can find rabbits, you can find birds. You know, there's pretty much anything out there that you would be interested in.
And that's right. And if you know, rabbits to me are the coolest, funnest little animals in the world. But you know, how many times do you see an ad in Facebook or in some of the social pages where a family has gotten a rabbit and the landlord found out and now they got to get rid of it? So you know, that happens quite a lot. I'm sure it happens with cats and dogs too, but rabbits are probably maybe a little harder to find a home for, because you know, everybody knows how to take care of a cat or a dog. You know, what do you do with a rabbit? I mean, it's not as obvious. So some people may be a bit reluctant to talk about that. But stick around if you have an interest in cats. We'll come to Scott and Jennifer Vaughn here in just a little bit, and we'll learn about fostering and adopting cats. But before we get there, we've got Dallas 290 Isaac in Dallas. Isaac, did you have any comments for the net tonight? No, Isaac is typically in and out, so I'm going to go ahead and show him that way, and we'll continue to move on. Next, we have Chattanooga 28 Travis in Ottawa. Travis, did you have any comments for the net tonight? All right, we're going to show Travis as in and out, and that'll bring us to Dana in Dahlonega. Stick around, Scott. You're going to be right after Dana. Dana, did you want to tell us about Dobie?
Well, sure, but first, good evening to you, Justin, Julie, Gary, Remote Mike, and Rogers. Rogers, I got a little message for you. Keep an eye on Julie and Justin. Don't let them leave, because they'll put a car carrier in your car and you'll leave with a dog tonight. But I have Dobby, who is a red heeler and positively my best friend. Let me break. This dog is a watchdog, a companion, understands English, I mean, better than some humans, and is just, a wonderful companion to have. Much more than just a dog. I could tell story after stories about her and the wildlife up here, including her chasing off a bear, being locked on that bear's rear as it went into the forest. Let me break. And she is currently right up in the radio room here on the spare bed, taking up her space. So that's it in a nutshell. I've had other pets, 2 basset hounds prior to Dobby, which are the cutest but the most adamant animals on the planet. Talking about not listening with the ears that they have, they should be able to hear you from a mile or 2 away, but yeah, they don't. Anyway, back to you guys.
I think, Dana, the big question from the group here is Doggy, is that part of the Simplex Challenge on Friday nights?
Well, she is definitely present. I have never afforded her mic time, but who knows? If my roster runs short, I just might add her on there.
Is that WOBI 250?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right. Well, very good, Dana, and thanks for that. Thanks for that story. And yeah, it's amazing. You'd commented about how they understand what you say, and that's something that I've always marveled at. Is that they say that dogs have a vocabulary, sometimes of a couple of hundred words.
I've heard up to 1,000.
I think 1,000 is more like it, because it really is remarkable how many things, and maybe they don't know the sentence, but they know what you're talking about. And we'd found that we had to be careful about even mentioning certain things, because the dogs would get wound up if.
But not only that, we started spelling words, and they caught on to that as well.
Bailey was a very good speller.
Have you all seen those videos where dogs would go and tap these buttons about what they want to say? And it's amazing. They can put together sentences and everything, and tell you what they want and everything, how they feel.
That little dog that looks kind of like a husky and a mix of something else, and she's always tapping the little white button. You know what the little white button says?
No, what's that?
Well, we can't say it on air.
Well, they have their own personality, and they let you know how they really feel.
Yeah,
they
do. They're amazing.
It is pretty incredible how well they're able to communicate and convey their expectations, and that's with our dogs. That's we've been challenged at meeting the expectations of the dogs, and we've been told by the dogs to step up our game. Let me break, and we'll move on to Scott here in a moment. Well, thank you for that, Dana. With that, we're going to continue on with Atlanta 261, Scott and Jennifer in Holly Springs. Scott, you want to tell us about your furry friends?
Well, actually, it's Jennifer. Scott gave me the honor of speaking tonight. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Jennifer. You sound great on that radio tonight. Tell us about the rescue operation that you have going on right there. Do you have any cats that are available for adoption?
Well, at the moment, we do not have any cats, but I can always find you cats. That's never a problem. Cherokee County and the surrounding counties are there's kittens being born every day that need new homes, and cats found that don't belong out in the wild. And so we've been privileged to have 165 fosters come through our house.
Wow, that's incredible. 165 fosters. So you know all about the foster game, and that they're there for a short time. Your purpose is to provide them with shelter and food and comfort.
Socialize
them. That's an important thing, because that's something that an animal really can't get in a shelter environment. The shelter, that's really not a very good word for it. I often refer to it as doggy jail. Because that's kind of what it is. It's a hard concrete space. It's loud. It's not warm and comforting. It's prison for animals, and it has an effect on them mentally. And I think it had a huge impact on Doogie. One of the challenges that we face is that if we travel, we will not put him in a kennel. That dog will never see a kennel ever in his life if we have anything at all that we can do about it, because he spent 8 months in doggy jail, and we don't know that he committed any crime that warrants that sentence. So fostering is a way of also getting these animals out of that environment and into an environment where they can be socialized. Jennifer, tell us a little bit about your experience.
Well, we kind of fell into fostering. A friend of mine was fostering for an organization called Per Nation Cats, and she had put the word out that we would possibly be open to fostering, and they sent me pictures of this little kitten that I just could not refuse giving it help. And so we cleared out a bathroom and got it ready for him, and little Oscar came, and I just fell in love. But he came in, and he was living under a dumpster at a QT, but he fit in the palm of my hand. He was so tiny, and he needed a bath, and I just felt so bad for this little guy, because you know how scary it had to be out there for him. And so we gave him a safe place, and that just kind of started our journey after that. And then my dad also got involved into, he does TNR, which is a little bit different, the trap, neuter, release, a little bit different than just foster. He does foster some of the cats that he does TNR, the ones that can go to homes, but most of them he puts back out into their outdoor homes because they're not ever going to be ready to live indoor life. That's just where they've been their whole life, and that's the best place for them. But he gets them fixed, gets them medically healthy. He has fixed and released over 900 cats back into cat communities around Cherokee County.
Well, that's fantastic. We have a neighbor just across the street and down a couple of houses that she endeavors to do much the same thing, trap them, and she pays for them to be neutered or spayed, and then released again. So, and then she'll provide shelter for those animals when it's really cold out. She has little enclosures that are heated, so that they can get some protection from the cold. And she'll also provide food and water for those cats in that area. So some of the neighbors get aggravated and say that she's just making the problem worse because she's providing food for all these feral cats. But, we've seen other situations where people have too many cats in and around their residence, and it stinks, and it's just not pleasant to be around. And that's not the case at all at Miss Connie's house. She does a great job of keeping the property and the house clean, and litter boxes changed, and she doesn't really seem to be contributing to that problem as much as she's just providing shelter for some of these animals. So I guess that's her way of fostering, and there's ways that we can contribute in all sorts of fashions, but that's great stuff. So no cats at the moment. So we out of the fostering phase. Life is like that sometimes. We just have to do other things.
Absolutely. I have gone back to work full time and adjusting to new schedules, and so we just took a little break for now. I have a feeling if the right situation happened and somebody asked me, I would have a hard time saying no, though.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, I tell you, 165 is a number to be proud of. So I don't think you owe the cat community anything. You've carried your burden, and you've done your portion. So and who knows, in time the opportunity to re-engage may come along, and if the time is right and the circumstances allow, and maybe it's not you, maybe it's a family member that picks up that torch and carries it on. So but very cool stuff, and we got to get together. We got to go have dinner sometime soon. So we got to, Scott and I are going to have to figure that out and get together and hang out with you guys. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely. It was great to talk to you guys. I miss you, and I look forward to that dinner. I'll get on Scott, too.
All right, sounds good. All right, we'll communicate, and we'll see what we can get put together. I know Julie's going to be out of town here coming up soon, so it might be a couple of weeks before we can do something, but we'll have to make a point of, we just let things happen and get in the way, and we just got to be intentional, and we'll get it done. All right. Well, thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Scott, for handing over the microphone. And I'm going to continue on to Atlanta 306 George in Loganville. George, did you have any comments for the net tonight?
How's everyone doing? It sure is a nice evening, a little bit cool. Yeah, I have a little min pen. It's about a little female min pen someone put out about 9 years ago in front of my house, and I had to carry her to the vet and get her taken care of. But she's have become the boss in the house now, and she's, just like a child. When you get a little dog like that, you have to, like I heard y'all talk about spelling around, and we have to spell around Gracie. You know the thing you talk about. Break. But anyway, we wouldn't take anything for her. I retired back in 2011, and it wasn't much. I think a year or so later, that's when she came up. I didn't put her out. But anyway, that's about all I have. And I go back to net control.
All right, George. Was that Gracie? Was that the dog's name? Did we have George and Gracie? Is that what I'm hearing? That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's right. And we've got a picture of it's not Gracie, but it may be Gracie's second cousin. That's up on the YouTube feed.
We'll definitely check that out. That's fantastic. And he mentioned that they kind of bond. You bond with these animals sometimes, and they're like family. And I can absolutely relate to that. That was very much, Penny was very much...
all of them.
Well, yeah, all of them. But Penny especially was one that she just there was a connection there that was just unlike any other animal. Penny was a special one. Bailey was too.
Yes, she was.
So these animals become part of the family, and one of the things that always kind of rolls through my mind is that if the dogs get out under the wrong circumstances, and the wrong person gets panicked or freaked out because there's a dog in the yard, you have to be so careful about situations, because so many people don't understand and can't relate, and can turn nothing into a big problem. So one of the things we really got to watch these animals just like they're our kids, because these animals will get themselves into trouble that they have no idea of, and just something that we need to be the dog parent or the cat parent and watch out for them. So, sometimes our dogs have tendencies, or they have habits, or they have behaviors that we know about. And so, that being the case, it's incumbent upon us to protect the dog from being exposed to a situation where that's going to get him in trouble. If your dog is somebody who doesn't like children, then you got to keep your dog away from kids. It's not enough to say, well, the kid came up to him, and there's not. You got to keep your dog away from the kids so that can't become a problem, and make sure that, because that protects the dog. I mean, if you have a dog that has a tendency to bite or has an issue in a certain social situation, then protect that dog from that situation so that it can't ever be a problem. And that's part of what we have to do as dog parents to make sure that we keep them safe. But love the miniature pincher. We've had friends that have had the min pins in the past, and they're great little dogs, smart little dogs. Mm-hmm. But and they're little bitty toes or little bitty legs. Just they're so delicate looking, but they're tough. Good stuff. Thank you, George. With that, let's continue on. We have next Atlanta 849 Pamela in Duluth. Pamela, do you have anything for the net tonight?
Well, I have to say it was quite an interesting subject for tonight. I definitely did not expect that. I don't have any pets, but I have had pets throughout my whole life. And you talked about rabbits. My sister, younger brother, younger sister, and me, we each had a rabbit when we were growing up. And one of them was white with ruby eyes and only had 3 paws. But she was a sweet lady, and we enjoyed her. But then I had a friend who had a parakeet or a cockatiel, and when I would call and leave a message, when my friend would come back home, she'd say, Pam, Pam, that she knew that I had called and left a message, and that was her clue. Had another friend who'd tell him that I was coming, and the dog would be sitting there right in front of the door waiting me to get there. Let me break. And then I had a special dog named Cody that I had when I was in New Hampshire, and had to leave her behind when I moved to Florida because it was just too hot for her and couldn't find a place where I could have her. And she was quite a character. She'd get out in the backyard with the big old robe running behind her. She looked like Super Dog running around the backyard, and it was hard to let her go, but I've got other stories, but I'll just kind of limit it at that. Oh, Bricks. Oh, I got to meet Bricks. And she's a sweetheart. She and I hit it right off, no problem. And I appreciate Julie letting me walk around with her outside. And, yeah, if you haven't seen her any of the time they bring her, you're going to have to come and meet Bricks. She's a great dog. And I'll let you have it back. Thanks.
Very good. Yeah, Bricks was scheduled for the Dalton Ham Fest, but since Gary's been injured and is not coming, I think that Bricks may sit this one out as well. Wait, it wasn't Gary. It's you. Are you coming to the Ham Fest or not?
Yeah, I don't think I'm coming. I mean, those temperatures are just too cold for me, and we're outside, and no.
All right, so
I'm not interested.
So no Julie, no
Bricks. That's right.
That's pretty much how that's going to play. So,
yeah.
But I'll be there, so you don't have to come to see the dog. I don't know. I don't know what you're laughing about.
I'm going to refrain from comment.
All right. Well, next on the roster we have Rome 105 Tommy. In Rome. Tommy, did you have any comments for the net tonight? I was really hoping Tommy would be in. I have questions.
Do you?
I do.
I think he's out.
I think he's out. All right, Rome 105. Tommy, we're going to show you as in and out. And with that is the end of our roster. So at this time, we're going to call out for any additional check-ins or any questions or comments. Now's your chance. The floor is open. Net control standing by.
This is Gainesville 417 WRER 451 William in Auburn, Georgia. Checking in.
I think I missed William. We'll see if Mike is able to decode that in.
Nope. On lookout. Didn't get it.
Okay. All right.
He said he was only Kenwood.
I heard that part. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got two of them there. I think with Gainesville 417, William and Auburn. I think I missed you right there at the beginning. You were in. Yeah, you're definitely marked as in. Oh, I see what happened. Walter Jr. was also in, and I missed him. Okay, that was my mistake, and that was my fault. I'm sorry about that. William, I'm going to come to you here in just a moment. There was another station checking in on the Lookout Mountain machine with the Kenwood, but it was very choppy. We were broken up enough that we couldn't make out who that was. So a station coming in through Lookout. If you want to try that again, let's see if we can get you in here.
This is WRP4 Chattanooga 162, and I'm about 3 miles above Watts Bar Dam on the Kenwood handheld. Check me in and check me out, please.
All right, got a good copy on you that time, Larry. Chattanooga 162, I've got you in here as in and out. Appreciate that. Let's go next to Gainesville 417, William in Auburn. My apologies, William, for missing you there at the beginning. Thanks for sticking it out all the way through to the end. Go ahead with your comments.
Yeah, Justin, I think you do. I'm going to complain a little bit before I talk about my pets. And I probably took this wrong on last week's net. Let me break. You were talking about the in and outs, all the in and out check-ins, and made the comment that maybe we just wanted to hear our name on the radio. That's not the case. I usually check in on every net that I can, and I do more listening than anything else because I'm learning, still learning. 79 years old, and I still learn every day. But as far as the pets go, yeah, I got 3 of them. I got a 10-pound Aussie Doodle. I got a 14-pound Bichon. And I got a dog that I got from the pound. It was supposed to be a, let me break. Yeah, it was supposed to be a Corgi, and we brought it home, and it turned out to be a black mountain cur. I'd never heard of it, but they say it's a real hunting dog, and she's about 75, 80 pounds now, so it's the biggest Corgi that I've ever seen. Let me break. Let me go.
Sounds about right.
I thought I heard let me break. William, did you have any more for us?
No, that's it. I've enjoyed tonight. Tonight's been very good, and appreciate it. And I always try to hang around to the end of the net anyway. Anyway, I'll be clear.
Very good. Well, the big Corgi, I'm trying to visualize that, and Julie's over here giggling. I could just imagine a 75, 80-pound dog with short legs, and that sounds like a dog with a lot of personality. So that would be a lot of fun. And then the Aussie Doodle, that was a little 10-pound dog. That sounds like an interesting, probably a pretty smart little dog.
Oh yeah.
I would imagine. So
absolutely.
I'll bet that one's a lot of fun too. And then what was the other one he mentioned?
I can't remember.
I'm still stuck in my head, and it's Pamela's fault. She'd mentioned a rabbit with 3 paws.
Oh.
And I just, from the moment she'd mentioned that, I keep thinking, is the rabbit's name Lucky? All right. Well, maybe it's only funny to me. But back to your comments, William, about people that just want to hear their names checked in. There's a lot of nets. Let me break. There's a lot of nets where that's really all that is kind of a roll call check in, and people do like to check into that just to be registered as a participant. So I don't mean that in a derogatory way. In fact, if you go back to probably a year ago or maybe 18 months ago, you'll remember that we used to call out every name a couple of times during the net. So the folks that were in and out would get acknowledged the second time, or actually typically the third time through, as we would progress with the net. And we stopped doing that mostly because our nets were running up until almost 10 o'clock at night. And, it was just adding a lot of time to the nets. And one thing we've noticed is that participation seems to drop off tremendously after 9 p.m. So we don't necessarily have a plan to shut it down by 9, but I do want to be sensitive to people that, that have tuned in at 9 o'clock or at 7 o'clock, that, they may not want to be on listening to the radio until 10 o'clock at night. That's kind of a long program, and I don't think that our content is good enough to draw people in for that long. So we've stopped reading in all the names over that period of time, but I've always been kind of sensitive to that fact that I think that people like to hear their names read over the air. I've always believed that, and I still do, and it's one thing that I kind of regret that we don't do anymore, but we don't do it because if we did, we would still be running up until probably 10 o'clock at night. But so that wasn't meant as a dig in any way, but I think that a lot of people like to check into nets just because they hear their name called out over the air, and I would think that that's cool. I mean, that was
when I first started last year. I would always wait until 7:30 to check in because I wanted to hear how I sounded on the air, coming from my station. So I love to see the in and out, and being acknowledged, and just to make sure that I was on the roster.
And that interaction is kind of a cool thing that I think a lot of people appreciate. So sorry if you took that any other way. That's not really how it was meant. But in any case, we're glad to have you along. William, you've been probably, I think we could go back through the logs and count the times that William has checked in, and I'll bet he hasn't missed 10 weeks over the last 4, 5, 6 years. William has been one of the most loyal and consistent check-ins that we've ever had. So I'm glad to have you along, and glad you're still hanging out and putting up with us. So good stuff. Also, here at the beginning, I missed who did I miss? I missed Walter Jr. Walter Jr., are you still out there, and do you have any comments for the net? He was only good until 9 o'clock. It's 9:02. All right, we're going to go ahead and show Walter as in and out. He was number 3 in the roster this evening. So sorry about that, missing you at the beginning there. But that is the end of our roster, and we've already taken our final round of check-ins. So it's time to wrap this one up, except I got to find the...
Do you want me to?
Do you have it?
I do.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, this concludes the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. We had a total of, looks like 64 check-ins, including myself.
Oh, wait, time out.
Oh, time out?
Yeah, there is one thing I forgot to do. We need to go to Free Salad and find out if he's got anything from the YouTube live chat that he wants to bring to the air. Blue Ridge 63, go ahead. Oh, and I missed some check-ins on YouTube.
This is Blue Ridge 63 from a faraway, distant, undisclosed location. We did have a couple folks in the comments tonight that shared about their pets. Our friend Mark, Rome12, says he's got 3 pups, Georgie, Lil Bear, and Teddy. That's all he shared, so thanks, Mark, for chiming in with that. We also had a quick comment from Miko in upstate New York. Miko shared about a Siberian Husky that they've adopted. The original owner was getting deployed down south, and so they adopted this Husky, and Miko says he'll keep you on your feet. The only other comment that I saw tonight about pets was from our friend Dana, Atlanta 250, about Dobby, the red heeler that rules. Hopefully I picked up on everything. I do want to just, while I've got the mic, real quick acknowledge the last few YouTube check-ins that we had. Rome12 was one of them. Blue Ridge 64 was another, tuning in on YouTube. Columbus 25, Peter, and then last but not least, our friend Josh, Dallas 64. They were all tuned in on YouTube tonight. So that'll round out the 64 total chickens we had tonight. Back to you, Net Control.
Thank you for that, Mike. So we'll do this again. This concludes the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. We had a total of 64 check-ins, including myself. Net Control will now be returning the repeaters to normal use. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, comments on the YouTube videos show engagement with the video and help the channel grow. Thank you for allowing us to serve as your Net Control this evening. Good night, everyone. This is Julie, Atlanta 947, WQYR 514.
And this is WSAL 368, Atlanta 263. I'm Rogers.
And this is Gary, WRUB 711, Atlanta 519.
And Justin, Atlanta 946, WQYR 514. Tonight's net is dedicated to the memory of Atlanta 60.5 Jake and Atlanta 947.5 Penelope. These are our treasured fur friends who've passed away.
We are North Georgia GMRS Network, and we are clear. Good night, everyone.
Good night, folks.